Welcome to Straight Up Dog Talk, the podcast where pet parents, pet guardians, and pet professionals come together to dive into real issues in dog parenting. From controversial training methods to sensitive health topics, we're getting raw and real about what it means to care for our canine companions. Join us every Wednesday for unfiltered conversations, expert insights, and personal stories that will make you laugh, cry, and grow as a pet parent. No topic is off limits and no question goes unanswered. You won't get one perspective here. You'll get them all because every dog is different and every human is too. You can follow along on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Straight Up Dog Talk or by visiting www.straightupdogtalk.com. Tune in from any of your favorite podcast platforms. Welcome to Straight Up Dog Talk. I'm Em, and we are back again with another amazing guest. This week, we have Elizabeth and Charlie with us. And you guys, in all of my years of veterinary medicine and pet sitting and now dog training, I have never met a dog with glasses until now. So welcome to the show, Elizabeth. I would like you to tell us a little bit about yourself and Charlie, and then just kind of dive into his backstory for us.
Absolutely. Well, hello, everyone, and thank you so much for having us. Let me dive right into it. Charlie is an 18-year-old Shishan. He's a Shih Tzu Bichon mix. I've had him since he was 4 months old. Funny story, he was a one-year anniversary present from an ex-boyfriend a long time ago, obviously 15 years ago. Best gift I've ever gotten in my life. I am a graphic designer for a company out in California. I actually work from home, so it's really wonderful to be able to work from home, especially since Charlie's in his older age. Not to mention Charlie just had surgery, and I could talk about that later as well. So yeah, this is such a weird and long story, actually. A couple years ago, I ended up starting an Instagram account for Charlie, and I'm just kind of giving you a little background to kind of get into the story of how the glasses came about. So basically, I wanted to start it because I had just broken up with a boyfriend. I was lonely and sad, drinking wine and talking to Charlie on the sofa, and I kind of wanted to get out a little bit more. So I figured having an Instagram account would hold us a little bit accountable for getting out there and meeting new people and stuff. So that's exactly what I did. And so we would end up going to a lot of dog-friendly places. Obviously, a lot of dog-friendly places were outdoors, so a lot of sunshine, wonderful places. To be quite honest, a lot of breweries and wineries. So we weren't drinking at home anymore. We were drinking out in public. But we got to mingle with other people. In the mix of all of this, Charlie had his annual checkup with his vet, and I took him in. And it turned out that during his checkup, the vet had told me that Charlie's starting to get cataracts. Didn't really know much about it. Charlie has goggles that I had gotten him a long time ago when he was a puppy, and he actually despised wearing them. He absolutely hated them, didn't want to keep them on, didn't like them. So I was like, well, I really wonder what I could do to help. Is there something that could protect his eyes while he's out there? Funny enough, my dad actually has cataracts, and so he wears sunglasses all the time. So I thought, okay, well, maybe I'll get Charlie a pair of sunglasses. Since I had started his Instagram, I ended up finding this company online that sold dog sunglasses. And I went onto their website and I was looking around and I came across a pair that had clear frames, but they were UV protected. So I thought, okay, well, let me try the clear frames. Maybe he doesn't like the darker lenses. So I ended up ordering a pair. And they came in, they were a cute little blue pair. He liked them. He just sat there with them on, and I was like, okay. So we ended up going out in public with them on, and everyone would come up to us, and they were like, oh my gosh, your dog wears glasses. And I was like, yeah. So it's kind of funny. When we got back home, I was like, are these really doing anything? So I started to look at when he put them on. I would go outside on a sunny day without them on, take him for his normal little walk, come back in. And when you come in and you don't wear your sunglasses and it's dark in your house or you don't have any light and you're kind of squinting and trying to get that focus back in because it was so bright out. So I noticed him just standing in the hallway. He wouldn't really move. He was, I guess, probably adapting to the light. So then later in the day, still sunny out, I would put his glasses on him and we would go out for a walk, and they have UV protection coating on them. So we would go for our walk and we would come in, and I would notice the moment that I took his glasses off, he would go walk right into the kitchen, like nothing. It was almost like us wearing sunglasses and coming in, taking them off. Your eyes don't have to do that adjustment. And so I was like, okay, maybe this was a one-time thing, but it actually wasn't. Every time that he had his sunglasses or his clear frame glasses on, he would come into the house and he would just go in and act like nothing happened. He does have sunglasses too, because they were kind of cute. And I was like, let's get you some sunglasses too, buddy. And so he wears those too, but his glasses are kind of his thing. When we would go out in public, it was really fun because we would have people come up to us all the time. How is he keeping those on? Why is he keeping them on? And so the first thing is they wrap around his chin and then they wrap around the back of his head. So they are like regular glasses, but they kind of have a strap and they stay on. He occasionally will shake his head and sometimes the glasses will, it's kind of funny actually, they'll slip up on his forehead. So if somebody's wearing glasses and they put it up on their forehead, that's exactly what they do. So sometimes I just leave them like that. Kind of cute. People would always ask me, are they real glasses? At first, I didn't know how to answer anybody because they're not prescription, but they do help. And I noticed a difference with Charlie wearing his glasses, especially on sunny days. It's been interesting. And the other funny thing is when children come up to Charlie and ask him about his glasses and they're like, well, why does your dog wear glasses? And I'm like, well, he's an old man and his vision's a little fuzzy. So he needs his glasses to see just a little bit clearly and they help him from the sun. So it's always funny and the kids just love it.
It is really fun and it's so cute. You have so many different videos of him wearing them and he really doesn't seem to mind. And he's got a couple of different colors. I think I've seen red ones and blue ones.
Yep.
I'm not
Black.
sure. Black, yeah.
Black.
I knew there was a few different colors and he looks really cute. He looks like a little nerdy dog and I love it. I think it's hilarious. And the fact that he keeps them on is even better because we don't want to do things to our dogs if it makes them uncomfortable. I think a lot of people don't understand on Instagram, they put their dogs in clothes and they put them in backpacks or on bicycles, all kinds of different things, or around children, whatever the situation is. And a lot of times I don't think that people read the room, they don't read their dog's reactions, and they don't respect their dog's boundaries. But you obviously realize that this was actually helping him and that he didn't mind. And if I feel like if a dog is like, this is helping me and lets you put them on consistently, doesn't fight you, and doesn't try to paw them off, and that's a pretty good sign. And their body language too, right? Look at the tail position, ear position, all the things. Mind you, we're not telling you guys go out and put glasses on your dog. This is obviously for a real reason. Let's talk about that a little bit. I'm going to make the assumption that most people listening know what cataracts are, but if you don't mind talking about cataracts just a little bit and how he got diagnosed with it, that would be, I think, a little bit helpful for anybody who just doesn't have any experience with it.
Cataracts is something that dogs get as they age and basically makes their vision fuzzy. One thing that my vet had told me, and I'm not 100% sure, again, I'm not a vet, but it was funny because I was like, oh, I can see that cloudy happening in his eye, so I can see it. And my vet actually told me that that is not the cataract, which was really interesting to me. I didn't know that. I thought the moment that you see those cloudy eyes, it just means that's the cataracts, but that actually is not the cataract. Cataract's a little deeper in the eye. He got diagnosed just doing a simple vision test with him, and I guess they can see it when they're evaluating the dog. He just happened to stumble across it. Charlie's cataracts aren't actually terribly bad right now. Believe it or not, being 15, I thought they would be a little bit heftier because he is on the older side. Granted, he's a small dog. He's only 14 pounds, and I know that they can live a little longer, but it was pretty interesting when I found the whole cloudy bit out because I thought surely that's what a cataract is, but it is not. I'm pretty sure if I remember him telling me correctly that most dogs or all dogs get as they age, as they get cataracts, and it lowers their visibility as they get older. You said something really good, which was talking about reading your dog. If Charlie wasn't comfortable wearing the glasses, I would not keep them on him. And there are times when we're out and about and Charlie does start to roll around in the grass and wants them off. So I do occasionally take them off of him because he's getting uncomfortable. But for the majority of the part, he does wear them and he likes being in them as we're out and about. The other thing that I found interesting with the glasses is because Charlie has short legs and generally outside, or we're taking some flat dirt trails, I should say, dust and stuff like that comes up. And so the glasses also do help keep some of those particles out of his eyes. He's lower to the ground and all that stuff drums up and everything. So I've noticed that it helps a little bit with that kind of stuff.
Glasses like the goggles, those are really great too for dogs that ride on bicycles, motorcycles, and backpacks in the car, because it keeps the wind and all of the dirt and dust and particles, or if like rock comes flying, that helps protect their eyes. I know that there are some people that participate in like sport things, whether that's skiing or hiking or fishing or paddleboarding, whatever. A lot of their dogs wear goggles just for protective eyewear. I'm going to clear up a cataract. It can actually be a cloudy or opaque area in the lens, but that's more like the symptom. It's not the actual cataract. Cloudy eyes can also be glaucoma or nuclear sclerosis is what Google is telling me right now, because I wanted a good, strong clarification there for the listeners. But it causes blurriness and it can cause dogs to go blind if not cared for and treated. Basically, what it does is it prevents light from going inside of the eye and then reflecting back out, which is how we see. Every person, animal, whatever that has eyes, the light goes in and it refracts off a bunch of different mirrors basically inside of our eyes, and that is what gives us our vision of how the world works. And cataracts prevent that from happening. So they get like holes in the picture. It's like if somebody went in and took out some of the mirrors and now it's darker, and it causes depth perception issues, and spatial awareness becomes difficult because they don't know how close they are to things. So they might be afraid to jump up. They might be afraid to jump down. They might be afraid to walk forward or backwards because they can't really see. They don't have the depth perception. I think that anything that we can do to give our dogs a leg up and help them through this kind of stuff, because as humans, when we're experiencing some kind of ailment for the first time or some kind of injury or illness, and we're like, this sucks and I don't feel good. And then we go to the doctor and the doctor can tell us what's going on. Well, we can take our dogs to the vet and the vet can tell us what's going on. But how do we relay that to our dog? There's not any way that we can just be like, this is how vision works, and it's just going to be like this forever. You found a really unique way to help him get through something that would have otherwise been potentially a lot more difficult for him. Now, you mentioned surgery. So did he have cataract surgery?
No, he has not. But I will say, to your point about the vision and the depth perception, these glasses are not a full fix for the cataracts. These are just a way to help alleviate some of the light refraction. Think of it when you go outside and you get that bright hit of sun. These help alleviate some of that symptoms, which can help alleviate his cataract. It's funny that you mentioned the whole depth perception thing. I just moved into a new place, and for the first time I've had stairs in my house, and Charlie was going up and down my stairs perfectly fine. I have hardwood floors on my one level, so I do have a carpet in front of the stairs so he doesn't hurt himself or slide. But what he was doing was he was jumping from the third step down because I think his depth perception is starting to go due to his vision. It is one thing that I will be addressing with the vet soon because of what happened. So due to this eye issue that he had, he ended up tearing his ACL and meniscus. So due to that, Charlie just had surgery. This is his 7th week out of surgery. So he ended up having a TPLO surgery on his back left leg, which is a very invasive surgery. The surgeon was amazing. He did an absolutely amazing job. I was worried too because Charlie's at this older age right now where I was worried of putting him under, but they did all of these tests pre-surgery and Charlie is an extremely healthy dog. He is such a healthy dog. All his organs are working really well. His heart, his liver, all of that kind of stuff. All I kept thinking was, oh my gosh, you're going to have leg surgery and you can't see. This is going to be awful. What are we going to do with you, buddy? So again, these glasses really do help him slightly. They are not a cure for this. So it is something that I will be talking to my vet about since he's had this issue. Charlie no longer does stairs anymore due to that reason, because I noticed that his depth perception is a huge issue I'm assuming with the cataracts coming into play now. I'm just waiting for him to start walking into walls next. But it is something now that I have to look at, especially since I've noticed that depth perception. So I pulled all stairs away from the sofa. Baby gates are up in the house. He's not allowed to go up and down stairs, not just from his surgery, but after his surgery now, he's not going to do a lot of that anymore. It's going to be a picking him up, putting him down kind of thing because of that. And it makes me nervous with that depth perception. The couch is not very high, but I didn't think a third step jump off my stairs would cause him to have a major surgery on his back leg. And here we are. So like you said, reading the room, reading the dog, understanding him and stuff like that has been key to our little journey right now. So I've noticed a few things with him with this surgery just as age that I didn't notice before because he was so healthy and bouncing around, and here he had this mishap, and now I'm starting to really see some of the things that as he's getting older, especially his eyesight.
So I'm going to go back for just a second because I'm pretty sure that a lot of people don't know what a TPLO surgery is, but this is a pretty common injury in dogs, unfortunately. The easiest way to describe a TPLO surgery is kind of like an ACL tear or a muscle tear in a human, but it's called a tibial plateau leveling osteoma. It is a rupture in a ligament or a tear in a ligament, and it causes extreme pain, and dogs are usually not able to walk. It can usually be repaired. It is not a cheap surgery. I have talked to many people who have had a dog that has had one of these. I have an old pet sitting client who actually has a dog who's had the surgery 3 times, twice on the same leg, once on another leg. I also know somebody who has a dog that had a bilateral TPLO surgery, which means it was 2 legs opposite each other at the same time, both front legs. And so when you have a dog that has this type of surgery, we're talking about non-mobile guys. We're talking about restrictions. We're talking about bed rest. We're talking about drugging your dog up to the point where they cannot function because we literally do not want them moving. Okay, this is not a fun thing to have to go through and recover with your dog. It takes a lot of extra effort on your part. Sometimes this means using a towel or getting some kind of brace so that you can put it under their bellies and help them walk, especially for bigger dogs so that they can go to the bathroom. It's really, really a lot of work. And if you guys have questions about it, please feel free to message me about it. I've actually seen several of these surgeries done in person. It's quite fascinating, but it is really a difficult thing for dogs to recover from. If Fitz ever had a TPLO tear, I would be in a bad way because we all know Fitz is a crazy active dog, and I don't know what I would do because that herding breed just is a herding breed. Fortunately, he hasn't hurt himself, but as he ages, it is something that I worry about, which is why he is on Pet Matrix Move, because that helps with the inflammation and helps keeps those muscles strong and all that kind of stuff. With the aging dog, Toby's kind of the same way. He's little. He's about 12 pounds. I have stairs. Sometimes he goes up and down the stairs. I haven't gotten to the point where I've decided, okay, I'm done. There has to be a gate up. But there are now stairs so that he can get up on the bed. He usually hangs out in his bed on the floor rather than jumping up on the couch, especially now that we have window film over the windows, because I got tired of all of the barking out of the window on purpose. And Toby's like, well, if I can't look out the window, then what's the point on getting on the couch, right? Like there's no reason. So no extra effort put in. So these are things that we need to think about as our dogs age, even as they're not aging. But wood stairs, either look at getting some of those treads that are removable, or maybe a carpet or something that you can put on your stairs, because it does make it easier for dogs to get up and down. The wood floors are slippery. My floors are slippery. I have wood floors, and I know at some point already Toby's starting to slip out a little bit, but he's the same age, 13, 14 years old. He's getting up there, and sometimes you just have to put things down in order to make it a better situation for your dog. And so again, I think it's really great that you pay attention to his needs and you're accommodating him. And it's really neat to talk to other pet guardians who think about those things as normal and necessary and not a burden.
Well, and we did before the surgery, before his jumping off the stair drama, I put a pet ramp at the end of my bed. I put stairs on the sofa. Again, knowing that Charlie was getting cataracts, knowing that his vision is going to start to slip a little bit. Not to mention too, he's getting older. I kind of wanted to make sure that his joints and everything would be a little bit better than just jumping from down and onto like a hard floor. At least he can land and stuff like that, or go down a ramp. So I had a ramp on my bed that had like a non-slip traction on it, which was wonderful, and he used it. I have not put it up since his TPLO surgery, but man, you aren't kidding. Let me tell you something. For a 15-year-old senior dog who sleeps all the time, thought for sure, hands down, I've got this surgery. He's going to be fine. He's going to be sleeping the whole time. My gosh. It was a nightmare to keep Charlie in his pen. The first couple weeks that he had his surgery, I had to keep him in a pen. And Charlie's constantly by my side. He wants to be on the sofa. He wants to be on the bed. Again, jumping down. Here we go again with his vision and his old bones. I'm like, buddy, you can't. He despised being in his crate that I had to set up for him. And it was a lot of sleepless nights for us to stay up. I had to make sure he had to go outside and go potties. And like you said, putting the towel under his belly, making sure to hold him up. And Charlie's a small dog. I'm taller. So it was a lot of bending down, and it was not a pleasant surgery. But what I can say to it is that it was the right decision for me to make for Charlie. Most certainly, I weighed a lot of my options with this surgery. I had to do a lot of research on it and everything like that to see if it was something I wanted to do with him. And the vet had told me to, just be careful. He's older. Think about how he's going to recover from it. And I'll tell you what, man, he is strong. I am highly shocked. And it's kind of funny because now, even probably like 3 weeks out of the surgery, he was wanting to go for walks. And I'm like, buddy, you cannot. Like, you cannot. As unfortunate as his incident was, and at the timing as it was kind of a good timing because it's winter here in West Virginia. Going outside and being super cold kind of stinks. So by the time he's fully healed, we will be outside in the sunshine, wearing his sunglasses and meeting all new people now that we moved out here to West Virginia. It's pretty interesting though that pre this, I did make sure that we had stairs and ramps and stuff like that for him, just because I knew that vision wasn't going to be getting better.
It's one of the things I think that we don't talk about. One of the things we don't talk a lot about as pet parents, right? It's hard to talk about our pets aging. It's hard to talk about preparing for them to be aging. It's hard to talk about the range of maladies and disabling factors that they have as they age. Because if you think about a dog and their body, it's kind of like comparing a human to crawling around on their hands and knees. The way that their body and their stances, they don't stand up on 2 legs, they're on 4 legs. So their spine is different, how they carry their weight is different, their hips, their joints, their knees, and they have more, right? They have paws, they don't have feet and hands, and they have different joints, and their shoulders are different. Dogs physically are so different from us as humans. And so I think it's easy to not think about a lot of those things because we don't have anything to compare it to. I often tell people when they're talking about overweight dogs and how they don't think it's a problem for their dog to be overweight, I always say something to the effect of, well, think about it this way. How would you like to be 9 months pregnant and have to only walk around on your hands and knees? You're not allowed to stand. You have to walk around on your hands and knees, and you're 9 months pregnant. People automatically are like, well, that would be terrible. Yeah, it would be terrible. It would be awful. I've never even been pregnant, and I think that would be terrible. Okay.
Agreed.
It's like carrying a bowling ball around in your stomach and having to walk on your hands and knees. No, thank you. I'm not
Agreed.
Again, that's just another area where being considerate and thinking about our dogs' needs and thinking about what's safe and healthy for them from their perspective is just really, really, really important. So while we're on that topic, let's talk a little bit about, you wrote a book about dogs and glasses. And I think it's really cool that you did this because it normalizes something that we don't talk about. It's normalizing stigmas, it's normalizing disabilities, it's normalizing visual impairment, and it's helping us be more comfortable with something that maybe we wouldn't have been comfortable with before because we're self-conscious and we have feelings about it. And I'm sure there are so many kids out there who, I wear glasses just like that dog, or this dog and I are so cool because we wear glasses. And I'm sure that there's probably a lot of adults too that are like, you know what, if that dog can wear glasses, I can be fine wearing glasses too. Let me tell you what, it is a hard thing. I've had perfect vision all of my life. And I was playing a board game with some friends a couple of weeks ago. And the cards for the game, I couldn't read them. And my friend looks at me and hands me her readers. And I was like, oh no, what just happened? This is not good. So it is a definite change of perspective. It's a shift in your mindset. It is something that you have to get used to. But I think the more that we normalize these things, the more we talk about these things, and the more that we say, hey, this is just sometimes what happens to people, and it doesn't make you any less special, and it doesn't make you different. It just makes you who you are. So let's talk a little bit about your book.
Before I get into the book, it's funny because I actually wear glasses as well. And I have worn glasses since, oh my gosh, elementary school. And as a kid, I remember getting made fun of wearing my glasses. I even remember getting my first pair of glasses. I was so excited about them because I don't even remember. I think they were blue. I loved the color blue. So I was just so excited to get my glasses. And then I go to school and of course I'm being bullied with my glasses on. Obviously being called a nerd and everything like that. When Charlie got his glasses, I realized that I actually had a blue pair of glasses as an adult. And so I ended up putting Charlie's blue framed glasses on and my blue framed glasses on. And I have a picture of me and him in a matching black and white striped shirt. So we are like legit matchy. And it just reminds me of those jokes that people say that your dog looks like you kind of thing. And I'm like, well, my dog legit looks like me, glasses and all. He also has a red pair of glasses. So I ended up getting a red pair of framed glasses and he has a black pair of frames. So I ended up getting a black pair of framed glasses. So I generally try to match him quite a bit. So on his Instagram page, you'll see both him and I have matching glasses, and it's a lot of fun. We get people that smile all the time when we're in our matching glasses. So to the book, I'm trying to remember what triggered it, and I don't even remember what triggered it. This book took me a little over a year to write and illustrate. I did both the writing and the illustration for the book. I saw how excited and happy everyone was when they saw Charlie and his glasses, and they were, oh, he's so cute. And the kids just absolutely adored him. All the kids, when they came up to him, were like, oh, he looks so cool. That's so adorable. And it just made me smile seeing these kids being so sweet to Charlie and his glasses. And so I thought, well, maybe I should write a book about him being in his glasses. And so his story is essentially a lot of the questions I get, like, why did he get his glasses? What people say when they see him, the troubles that we run into with his glasses, like flying off of his face or he'll rub them off, and then the acceptance that he gets from his friends about him wearing his glasses. And I didn't really think at the time when I was writing this book that it would be something that kids would look up to. And since I published the book, it's been read in quite a few classrooms, and I've gotten so much love and support from people on Instagram, sending me pictures of their kids with little glasses, and it's just been so adorable. And I just didn't realize how much of a role model and inspiration Charlie would be for these children. This is such an adorable story. One of Charlie's Instagram friends, momagers, if you would, has a grandson named Jacob, and Jacob was born with a condition. I don't have it off of the top of my head, but he ended up having to get a glass eye. Now, this boy is just about maybe 2.5 years old, so he's got a little glass eye, and he has to wear glasses to make sure that that lens stays in and that he's not poking around with it and everything. Well, they ended up sending me a picture with Jacob reading Charlie's book, and I just lost it crying. It was just the sweetest little thing that I could ever see. And then there's this other picture that somebody sent me who's a teacher in a school, and this little girl, She's so stinking cute, has glasses, and she's looking at the camera, just smiling with the biggest smile on her face. And her teacher told me that she was so excited to hear about a book with a dog with glasses on. And it just melted my heart. So again, I didn't really think when writing this book that it would turn into something that kids could look up to. And I don't know, it's just melted my heart, honestly. It's just been so amazing. If it was a coworker of mine had bought the book for his daughter, and he told me that she gave it 2 thumbs up, that she absolutely loved the book. And she told her dad, "So dad, when am I getting dog glasses?" So
That's so
yeah,
cute.
yeah. Not regular glasses. She wants dog glasses. She wants dog glasses like Charlie. So it's just been really heartwarming to see all of these stories and these kids and adults, to be honest with you. I've had adults read the book and they're like, this is so adorable. So yeah, and of course I've had everyone like, are you going to write a second book? And I'm like, I don't know yet.
How cool, though. First of all, let me commend you for illustrating and writing the book. I could not illustrate anything to save my life. I'm not an artist at all. Stick figures is about as good as I get if I want to put in that much effort. I'm a terrible artist. I've always wanted to write a book. I feel like I probably will eventually get there one day. I just am doing a million other things right now, so I don't have time to write a book. I know how time consuming that can be. So awesome to you for being able to do both.
Oh, thank you.
But also, what a way to memorialize Charlie. For the rest of your life, you're going to be able to look back at this book and remember this experience that you had with this dog for the rest of your life. And even though he won't be with you for the rest of your life, you get to carry him through your life and into other people's lives for the rest of time. How cool is that? That is so cool.
It's so funny you say that because that's exactly how I felt once the book got published. I thought the same thing. Oh my gosh, this is a legit book. This is a tangible thing in my hand. And all I kept thinking was exactly what you said, was that I have something to look back on with Charlie that not only reminds me of our time together, because he is getting older. I don't have much time with him left. Let's just be real here. And it's going to live forever. And the thing is that the book came out in November. So this was right at the time Charlie had his surgery. So we actually haven't been out in public yet with him with his book. There is a local bookstore here in town that I did drop some books off, and they do have his book in there. I contacted a company on Instagram that does custom pillows and had them do a custom pillow of Charlie. Charlie is not a ESA dog, an emotional support animal. So there are places that I will not be able to take Charlie to read his book. So I got this pillow made. It's basically a picture of Charlie so that I could bring him with me and pass it around to kids and they can hug on him and stuff like that if they really want to and everything. But once he gets better and once the weather warms up, we have plans to go to some local schools, read to the kids, some local libraries. There's some books, some local bookstores that are dog friendly that we're in talks with right now to go and be a visiting author where, you know, you can go in and pitch your book and read it and sign it and do all that kind of stuff. And I wanted to make this as authentic as possible. So I ended up getting Charlie's paw print made into a stamp so that I could have him sign the book. It got really messy when I first started doing it. I was like, we can't do this. Charlie, we're going to have to get a stamp made of your paw print to sign these books. So I did end up getting a stamp to sign the book. So he's got his little paw signature.
Oh my gosh, what an awesome idea. I love that. And I love the pillow too, because again, he isn't going to be with you forever. And if this is something that you can continue doing as the book grows, as the sharing of the book grows, because a lot of times with books, not all books are instant bestsellers. And this will go on forever and ever. And eventually down the road, he won't be with you. And so what a way to be able to like still gift people with his paw print and still pass him around during the readings. Such a cool idea. I'm so emotional about this right now. I'm crying, you guys. I like wiping tears out of my eyes because I'm just like, I just think it's so touching. And so I see what you're doing. And I think that it's just so cool because that's, you know, initially why I started my Instagram account. I became a dog trainer because of Fitz. I started the podcast because of my experiences with my dog and realizing that there were so many things that we needed to normalize for other pet guardians because we don't talk about them, because we feel guilty about them, because we have shame, or we learned something because this dog was super, 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 super easy. And now we have a really difficult reactive dog. And there's just so much information out there. And there's so many people who have questions and so many people who are afraid to ask because kids are mean. But so are adults. Adults are also mean. I just wanted to create a place where I could let people share their stories and I could share my stories and go back and listen to them and relive those moments. And so I think that what you're doing is so cool. And that's why I wanted you to be here today. So I really appreciate you coming and taking the time to talk about Charlie and share his story. And I cannot wait to actually read his book because I haven't gotten to read it yet, but I do plan on reading it and sharing it on Instagram with everybody. But I always like to do this. So what would you like to leave the listeners with tonight?
Oh man, so there's just so many things. Since having Charlie at this older age is just to take advantage of loving your dog and spending time with them, because the 15 years that I've had Charlie goes by so fast. And I hate to say that I'm sad that I started his Instagram so late, but a part of me kind of is, because I didn't take the advantage sooner to go out and really do things with Charlie. I'll be honest with you, I want Charlie to live his best life the last few years that I have him. And so if it means making sure that he has to have surgery and just focusing on the things that as he's getting older, his nutrition, his eyesight, making sure that all of those things are good and taking care of him the best way that I can. So my biggest thing really to everybody is just to love on your animal, bond with your animal, and it'll take you places that you would have never thought it would take you, because quite honestly, I never thought that the bond that Charlie and I had would take us where we're at today. Writing a children's book, being on your wonderful podcast, and being able to share Charlie's story. I mean, that's just so amazing to me. So just really take that time and bond with your dog and love on them throughout the years that you have with them, because they aren't going to be around for long.
I love it. That is such a beautiful message. Well, again, Elizabeth, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing Charlie with us. And again, everybody go check out the book. Will you shout out the name of the book, please?
Yes, it's called Charlie Gets Glasses, and you can find it on Amazon.com. You just have to go ahead and type it in. It is also on Barnes & Noble online and Walmart online. Quick little shout out to Charlie's Instagram handle. So it's Char, CHAR _ and then his breed name, which is Shishon, it's SHICHON. And you can go on there, and I have a website on there that you can go link up to it. So I hope everyone enjoys, and thank you again. This is wonderful. I want people to hear Charlie's story.
Yes, of course. It was an absolute pleasure having you here tonight. And you guys, I will make sure that Charlie's book is on my Amazon recommendation list so that you guys can grab it out of my links if you can't find it on your own, or if you have questions, you can definitely shoot Elizabeth a message on Instagram, and we will see you guys next week on Straight Up Dog Talk. Straight Up Dog Talk was created by Emily Breslin. It is edited and produced under the supervision of Straight Up Dog Talk, LLC, and Emily Breslin. If you're enjoying this podcast, follow or subscribe, and be sure you don't miss an episode. And leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Looking for more honest and relatable dog content? Check out our sister show, Unpacked, with Jerry Sheriff and Madison Simpson. Thanks for listening to Straight Up Dog Talk. See you next week.